about a round of applause for our volunteer timers supplied by our participant schools? Thank you, timers. And it is now 10:30. Our first event is the men's 400-yard individual medley. We have 3 heats. Heat 1. Swimming in lane 2 from St. John's, Dylan Murphy. In lane 3, also from St. John's, Trey Barton. In lane 4, our 200 IM champ from Gustavus, Aiden Haberman. Lane 5, St. John's, Lincoln Cochran. And lane 6, St. John's, Luis Flores. Not only did Aiden in lane 4 win the 200 IM, he also swam a leg on the Gustavus 800 freestyle relay, anchoring in a 142.3. So 2 gold medals already for Aiden. And Aiden looks very much like he just needs to get in the finals. Very relaxed backstroke. And now he moves into his specialty. Aiden, breaststroke splits in the 2 RM, outclassed the field by a couple of seconds last night. Aiden's seed time of a high 4:14 comes from the Luther Invitational, which was a pre-Thanksgiving big invite down in Decorah. And he is currently 3:09. He's full 7 seconds ahead of his pace. He'll be in the probably in the 4:05 range, depending on how hard he wants to push this freestyle. Solidly in second is Lincoln Cochran, our number 6 seed. Lincoln from St. John's comes in at 4:18. And Aiden may just break 4:10, which should easily punch his ticket to one of the middle lanes in the A final, champ final. And a 4:09.3, very comfortable. Aiden's pulse rate probably about 100 right now. And Lincoln with a nice 4:14.3. Nice 4-second drop for Lincoln. Trey Barton in at 4:25. Luis Flores in at 4:39. Heat 2. In lane 2, Owen Parada, St. Olaf. Lane 3 is Mason Jetering of Gustavus. Lane 4, Britton Patty, our number 2 seed. He's from Gustavus as well. Lane 5 from Carlton, Carson Rotter. Lane 6 from McAllister, Isaac Snaza. And lane 7 from St. Olaf, Jacob Lerzel. Britton out in a 55-2. Just a little bit slower than he was when he created that seed time of 4:14 at the Gusty Challenge at the end of January. And closing up here is Carson Rotter in lane 5. Britton comes in to the meet with the second fastest seed time in the event. Carson pulling ahead a little bit. So leading coming into the freestyle will be Carson Rotter, Carlton in lane 5, that yellow cap. For those of you following on the live stream, lane 4, of course, Britton. And in the third right now in the heat is Mason Dietering of Gustavus in lane 2. And Carson looking at about a 412 flat, maybe a 411 high. And now Britain making a big push here in the last 50. Carson 4:12.1, Britain 4:12.3. Best times for both. And there's Mason at 4:18. Now heat 3. In lane 1 is John Roselle of Carleton. John was 7th in this event last year. In lane 3, also from Carleton, 8th last year. This is Matthew Krogman. In lane 4, our number 1 seed, the defending champion from St. John's, senior Braden Slavic. Lane 5 from St. Olaf, 5th last year, Aiden Young. In lane 6 from Gustavus is Mason Cote. And lane 7 from St. John's, Riley Yerkes. Braden in lane 4, also our 500 freestyle champ, and he was a part of the St. John's 800 free relay that took second last night behind Gustavus. Braden one of 6 St. John's swimmers in this event. Only 17 swimmers entered, so only one swimmer will be knocked to the alternate position. Everybody else will score something if they swim it legally. Braden about 3 seconds ahead of what he swam down at Rochester at their invitational that was hosted by St. Cloud State. That was a early December invitational. And Braden very much on track for that NCAA B cut. The time to enter the meet is a 3:58.49. 3:54.6 was invited to participate last year. So realistically, Braden going to try to get close to that 3:54, at least here in the prelims, to take a shot at the cut and get himself invited to the Nationals this year. He is 3:08 and actually only a little bit faster than his December time right now. He was a 55.8 coming home in December. So he may just be swimming to get qualified and will make a run tonight. Braden's going to be very close to that 4:04 seed time. .403.82, so season's best for Braden. And Aiden Young of St. Olaf will slide in with a 14.6 and a 15.5 for Carleton's Matt Krogman. So we are set up for a great fun race for first, and then a whole bunch of times between 4:12 and 4:15 to come round out that A final, the championship final tomorrow. Our next event is the women's 400-yard individual medley. Heat 1. Swimming in lane 1 for St. Catherine, Maka Chicorero. Lane 2 for St. Olaf, Nora Gunderson. In lane 3 for Gustavus. Our consul champion last year is Kendall Coopersmith. Lane 4 from St. Catherine, number 3 seed this year is Olivia Wheel. Lane 5 from Gustavus, Stella Anderson Moy. Lane 6, Nadia Lanz of McAllister, Nadia 5th last year. Lane 7 from St. Benedict, Izzy Green. Nadia Lanz of McAllister with a nice butterfly leg. Last year, Nadia kept both of her backstroke splits under 35. Her seat time, just under 5 minutes, comes from the Luther Invitational. Nadia was 6th in the 400, the This is Nadia's first event of the meet so far. And she is going to double today into the 100 back. And at the 300, a 334. And she will definitely be under 440. There is only one seed time coming into this event under 440. And even with the extra stroke right at the end, Nadia 439.37, big time drop. 19-second drop for Nadia. Second to the wall, 444.8 for Olivia Wheel. And then a 445.5 for Kendall Coopersmith of Gustavus. Heat 2. In lane 1 from St. Catherine, Rishanta Pollard. Lane 2 from Carleton, Aubrey Tran. In lane 3, fifth last year from Gustavus, Summer Krause. I'm sorry, Summer was 8th last year. Can't read my writing. In lane 4, she was second in the 500 last night. McAllister sophomore Molly Knuckles. Lane 5 from St. Olaf, Carissa Bell. In lane 6, Carleton senior 4th last year in this event, Stephanie Baranoff. Lane 7 from St. Olaf, Kaya Rieg. And lane 8 from St. Catherine, Isabel Harden. And Molly a 101.89. Molly was 442 at the Roger Allman Invite, that early December meet hosted by McAllister. And she is exactly 1/10 ahead of her pace in December. Obviously a smart play for our top seeds to get themselves qualified without expending any more energy than they have to, unless they're going for a national cut. In December, Molly was not under 40 for her breaststroke split, so she's picked up the pace here a little bit, and we will expect a good freestyle leg out of Molly. Remember, she was second in the 500. Her last 100 in the 500 was a high 103, so she's going to have a good one. And Molly 336 with a 103. That puts her right at 440 or just under. And Molly in with a 442.4. Relaxed freestyle Stephanie Baranov, in all likelihood, punches her ticket to the champ final. And maybe along with Summer Krause. Very nice time drops for Stephanie. And about 4 seconds for Summer. Heat 3. Swimming in lane 1 from St. Benedict, last year's 6th place finisher is Claire Canfield. Lane 2 from McAllister, Annika Hensel. Lane 3 from McAllister, Poppy Wedding. In lane 4, we have the defending champion, St. Olaf Senior Paige Steenblock. In lane 5, for Gustavus, Annika Beck. Lane 6, from McAllister, Jay Young. Lane 7, from St. Benedict, Jaden Allholm. And lane 8, from St. Catherine, Elizabeth Gilman. And a virtual tie for first. Annika Hensel, 102.91 and 103.07 for Paige in lane 4. Annika in 5, about a half a second back. And Paige and Annika right together. A very nice backstroke leg going here for McAllister's Poppy Wedding. And Paige and Annika still doing their synchronized swimming routine here. Paige was a 4:34 at the Rochester Invitational in December. She came home in a 103.8, but that was racing hard. She may just be cruising to get in the finals. Should be a good strategic move, as very likely that both she and Annika Beck in 5 will punch their ticket to the champ final. And Annika putting the pressure on here. And there's a 4:39.28. And Paige in at 4:40.7 as they very comfortably punch their ticket to the A final. So the leaderboard is going to be pretty crowded around 444 and 445. We'll have those qualifiers for you here momentarily as Elizabeth Gilman slides in with a PR by 3 seconds. Way to go, Lizzie. Here are the qualifiers in the men's 400-yard individual medley. Our alternate is Dylan Murphy. Qualifying into the consolation final, 16, Riley Yerkes. 15, Luis Flores. 14, Jacob Lerzel. 13, Mason Cody. 12, Isaac Snaza. 11, Trey Barton. 10, Owen Parada. And 9, John Russell. Qualifying into the champ final, in 8th, Mason Dietering. 7th, Matthew Krogman. 6th, Aiden Young. 5th, Lincoln Cochran. 4th, Britton Patchy. 3rd, Carson Rotter. In 2nd, Aiden Haverman. And our top qualifier with a time of 4:03.82 from St. John's, Braden Slavic. Our next event is the men's 100-yard butterfly. We have 3 heats. Heat 1. Lane 1, Eli Petrin, St. Olaf. Lane 2, Daniel Cameron, our consolation champ last year from St. Olaf. Lane 3, Ben Kell, Gustavus. Lane 4, 7th last year, Jack Homme, St. Olaf. Lane 5, William Wallace, St. Olaf. 6, Aiden Johnson of Carleton. Lane 7, Jackson Havda, St. John's. And lane 8, Kristen Popa of Hamlin. Ben Kell of Gustavus. And Ben Kell at 50.6. Jack Homme. 3rd at 50.98. William Wallace, 2nd at 50.92. Heat 2. In lane 1, Casey Moretta McAllister. Lane 2, Noah Lee, Carleton. Lane 3, Neil Tollefson, Carleton. Lane 4, Aiden Carlson from Gustavus. Aiden, 4th last year and a number 2 returner. Lane 5, Keegan Jones, Gustavus. 6, Bodie Thompson, McAllister. Lane 7, Bo Giddings, St. Olaf. And lane 8, Nathaniel Roberts, St. Olaf. And it's a GAC attack, 1-2 for the Gusties. 49.80 for Aiden with a milestone swim. And a 50.1 for Keegan Jones. Keegan jumps to number 2 on the leaderboard. Heat 3. In lane 1, David Lammers of St. John's. Lane 2, Eddie Barnes, McAllister. Lane 3, Jack Schumacher, McAllister. Lane 4, Jackson Rankin, Carlton. Here's our top returner. He was second last year, was Jackson. Lane 5, fifth last year, also from Carlton. Also a junior, Warren Kozak. Lane 6 from Gustavus, Jacob Robison. And lane 7, St. Olaf's, Anders Berggren. And lane 8 is Mazzy Posher of Hamlin. And Jackson Rankin, 49.88. That will slide to second on the leaderboard. And we've got two more 50 points. Warren Kozak, 50.51 and a 50.89. And it looks like it's going to take a 50.9 or better to make that champ final. Some hot swimming in the Old Aquatic Center tonight. Here are the qualifiers for the women's 400-yard individual medley. Our second alternate is Aubrey Tran. First alternate, Nora Gunderson. Qualifying into the Constellation Final in 16th, Jada Alholm. 15, Claire Canfield. 14, Kaya Rieg. 13, Carissa Bell. 12, Jay Young. 11, Annika Hensel. 10, Stella Anderson Moy. And 9, Poppy Wedding. Qualifying into the champ final in 8th, Summer Krause. 7th, Kendall Coppersmith. 6th, Olivia Wheel. 5th, Stephanie Baranoff. 4th, Molly Knuckles. In 3rd, Paige Steenblock. Qualifying 2nd, Nadia Lands. And our top qualifier, swimming at 4:39.28 this morning from Gustavus, Annika Beck. Our next event is the women's 100-yard butterfly. Heat 1. In lane 1, from Hamlin, Minerva Uribe Cardenas. Lane 2, from St. Benedict, Isabella Anderson. In lane 3, last year's consul champ, Carlton's Grace Ho. In lane 4 is our number 3 seed, Madison Whitty, Gustavus. Lane 5 is Madison's teammate, Samantha Villa. Lane 6, St. Olaf, Lena Medetto. And lane 7, Addie Marsalik of St. Benedict. And it's Grace at 58.73, 58.90 for Madison. And Minerva with the seat. Heat 2. In lane 1, Bella Stadheim of Hamlin. Lane 2, Olivia Stankiewicz Goldsmith of Carleton. Lane 3, Ella Hochstetler, St. Catherine. Lane 4, McKenna Hultgren. McKenna was 6th last year, but our second fastest returner from St. Olaf. Lane 5 from Gustavus. She is our top returner, having placed 5th last year. That's Linnea Reinsmoen. In lane 6, Josie Smith of St. Olaf. And lane 7, Ryan Hopp of Hamlin. $58.4 for McKenna. And Ella in at 59.1. 59.46. For Linnea. Heat 3. In lane 1 from St. Catherine, Anna Sawick. Lane 2, St. Benedict, Maddie Tillman. In lane 3 from McAllister, Emma Henry. Lane 4, with the 4th fastest time in the country right now, from St. Benedict, Haley Zellen. Lane 5 from St. Olaf, Olivia Small. Lane 6, St. Benedict, Josephine Larson. And lane 7 from Carleton, Nora Wooten. We're going to keep an eye on the meet record and the MIAC record of 55.25, set back in 2014 by Marianne Kukielka. Haley's seed time 54.7. And that is a qualifying time that will be number 1 going into the finals of the 55.63. So Kuki's record is safe for another few hours anyway. And it looks like it's going to take a 58 to get into the, or 59, under a minute, the champ final. Here are the qualifiers in the men's 100 fly. Second alternate, Eli Petrin. First alternate, Jackson Havda. Qualifying into the console final, 16, Bodie Thompson. 15, Jack Schumacher. 14, Aiden Johnson. 13, Bo Giddings. In 12th, Noah Lee. 11th, Daniel Cameron. In 10th, Casey Moretta. And 9th, Neil Tollefson. Qualifying into the champ final tonight, in 8th, Jack Homme. 7, William Wallace. 6th, Jacob Robichon. 5th, Ben Kell. 4th, Warren Kozak. 3rd, Keegan Jones. 2nd, Jackson Rankin. And our top qualifier, the time of 49.80 from Gustavus, Aiden Carlson. Our next event, the men's 200-yard freestyle. Heat 1. In lane 2, Tyman Overton. McAllister. 3, Logan Sear Gustavus. 4, Charlie Newton Gustavus. Lane 5, last year's console champ, Travis Elling, St. Olaf. Lane 6, Thor Pearson, Carleton. And lane 7, Ryan Mickleborough, McAllister. And Logan Sear, fresh off of a silver medal in the 500 last night, drops a 142.88 for about a 4.5 second PR. Heat 2. In lane 1, Andy DeClue, Hamlin. Lane 2, Evan Fouts, McAllister. Lane 3, 7th last year, Leaf Patrica, Carlton. Lane 4, 8th last year, Max Taufen, McAllister. Lane 6, Braden Ortman, St. John's. And lane 7 is Christian Vicenza of St. Olaf. .50 to go, and Max Taufen, McAllister turning just ahead of Braden Ortman of St. John's. Leaf Patrica of Carlton still in the hunt. And Max 144.7. His best time of the year. Braden 145.6. Heat 3. In lane 1, Grant Ravendal of St. Olaf. Lane 2, Bodie Allen McAllister. Lane 3, Tommy Moore McAllister. Lane 4 is our top returner from last year from Gustavus, Aiden Shermack. Lane 5, St. John's, Vince Schulze. Lane 6 from Gustavus, Logan Braley. Logan was 4th last year. And in lane 7 from Hamlin, Jackson Ling. And a pretty hot first 100. Good splits will get them a mid 142. Tommy, Aiden, and Vince. And 50 yards to go. It's Tommy from McAllister in 3. Aiden from Gustavus in 4. Both right together at 16:66. Vince Schulze of St. John's right behind. And Tommy Moore McAllister, a 142.98. And he punches his ticket to a middle lane in the A final. Here are the qualifiers in the women's 100-yard butterfly. In a second alternate, Anna Sawick. First alternate, Maddie Tillman. Into the consolation final tonight. 16, Nora Wooten. 15, Olivia Stankiewicz-Goldsmith. 14, Addie Marsalek. 13, Ryan Hopp. 12, Josephine Larson. 11, Lena Manetto. 10, Samantha Villa. 9, Josie Smith. Into the championship final in 8th, Linnea Reinsmoen. 7th, Ella Hochstetler. 6th, Madison Whitty. 5th, Olivia Small. 4th, Grace Ho. 3rd, McKenna Hultgren. 2nd, Emma Henry. And our top qualifier, swimming a 55.63, well under the NCAA B cut. From St. Benedict, Haley Zellen. Our next event, the women's 200-yard freestyle. Heat 1. In lane 3, Brooke Frederick from Hamlin. Lane 4, Danielle Hobbs of Augsburg. Lane 5, Violet Frank, Concordia. And lane 6, Kaya Anderson of Augsburg. And this is going to be Danielle Hobbs of Augsburg. A big time drop, 2:12.5. And Violet Frank of Concordia, another big time drop. Brooke Frederick, 4 seconds best time. And Kaya Anderson, 11-second best time. It's PR City in Heat 1. Heat 2. In lane 1, Paris Walsh, St. Catherine. Lane 2, Claire Stratensky, McAllister. In 3, Shay Bradley, St. Catherine. Lane 4, Olivia Hopewell, St. Olaf. Lane 5, Ellie Parata, St. Olaf. Lane 6, Anna Wirtz, McAllister. Lane 7, Megan Gunderson, Hamlin. And lane 8, Corey Dawson of Hamlin. And we're going to have more nice times here. Olivia and Ellie lifting each other. And Ellie, 2:01.96. And another whole heat of PRs. Heat 3. In this now, the first of our circle-seated heats. In lane 1, Nicolette Harvey, St. Catherine. Lane 2, Hannah Zern, McAllister. Lane 3, Julia Machalski, Carleton. Lane 4, Sawyer Eastman, St. Olaf. Lane 5, last year's 5th place finisher, Caitlin Otto, Gustavus. Lane 6, Morgan Stout, St. Benedict. Lane 7, Ella Grogan, Carleton. And lane 8, Lulu Martin Del Campo of Carleton. And Yulia Machalski continuing her great meet. Battling with Gustavus' Caitlin Otto. Caitlin moving up in lane 5. And Caitlin, 156.4. Yulia, 157.4. Relax, swimmers. And now a chance to enjoy the Crack Aquatic Center staff as they replace the touchpad in lane 5. The Aquatic Center record for touchpad replacement is 57.5. This is a bulky one. They're going to have a good second half to make this work. That Velcro just doesn't want to give it up. Just one more buoy to replace. One more buoy. And we won't see a new record, but a nice effort by the Aquatic Center staff. Way to go, ladies. And now heat 4. Lane 1, we have Ella Franklin of McAllister. Lane 2, Jordan Grotbo, St. Catherine. Lane 3, Maya Tejas, McAllister. Lane 4, 7th last year, also from McAllister, as she jumps from 7th last year to our number 2 seed this year. This is Amalia Shields. Lane 5, our defending champion from Gustavus, Geneva Fackler. Lane 6, from St. Olaf, McKelvey McDaniel. Lane 7 from Gustavus, Kaya Chernis. And lane 8 from St. Benedict, Maddie Brinda. And Amalia Shields hanging on. Geneva and Maya on either side trying to close, but Malia does not want to give it up. Oh, what a great wall by Geneva Fackler. And Geneva with a great seventh turn. Posts a 156.52. Heat 5. In our final heat of 200s for the women, lane 1, Lauren Sitzman, St. Benedict. Lane 2, 8th last year from Carleton, Chelsea Anderson. Lane 3, Leah Felton, Gustavus. Lane 4, last year's consolation champion, this year's top qualifier. From St. Olaf, Katie Homme. Lane 5, second last year from St. Benedict, Mary Morris. In lane 6, Teresa Gatti, Gustavus. Lane 7, Anna Schottler, St. Benedict. And lane 8, Lily Wong of Carleton. And at the 100, it could be anybody. Mary Morris and Leah Felton right together. And Mary Morris pulling away. And a 155.85 for Mary. Leah Felton, Gustavus, 157.14. Here are the qualifiers in the men's 200 freestyle. Second alternate is Grant Ravendall. First alternate, Kristen Musenzi. Into this consolation final tonight in 16th. Solomon Overton, 15. Ryan Mickleborough, 14. Jackson Ling, 13. Evan Fouts, 12. Logan Braley, 11. Bowden Alley, 10. Leif Petrika, and 9th, Thor Pearson. Into the championship final tonight, qualifying 8th, Braden Ortman, 7th, Travis Elling, 6th, Max Taufin, 5th, Charlie Newton, 4th, Vince Schulze, 3rd, Aiden Shermack, 2nd, Tommy Moore, and our top qualifier by 100th of a second, going a 142.88 from Gustavus is Logan Sear. Our next event is the women, is the men's 100-yard breaststroke. He won. In lane 2, Spencer Laga, McAllister. Lane 3, Alex Lee, Carlton. Lane 4, fifth last year from Gustavus, Aiden Carlson. Lane 5, he was sixth last year from St. John's, Clay McGaw. Lane 6, Jason Jones, St. John's. And lane 7, also from St. John's, Simon Yangamoy. And a 56 right off the bat, and a pair of 57s. Heat 2. In lane 2, Brennan Close, St. John's. In 3, TJ Pally, McAllister. Lane 4, seventh last year, Nick Starkovich, St. Olaf. Lane 5, eighth last year, Will St. John, McAllister. Lane 6, Cam Newton, Carlton. And lane 7, Eli Petrin, St. Olaf. And Nick Starkovich scratching his way home, a 58.05. And that will jump to fourth on the leaderboard. And 4 swimmers under a minute in Heat 2. Heat 3. Swimming in lane 1 for Hamlin, Gavin Carpy. Lane 2, Jeffrey Kong, Carlton. Lane 3, Mason Cody of Gustavus. Lane 4, our defending champion, coming in already with a B cut, Braden Ripken, Gustavus. Lane 5 is Braden's teammate Brandon Wilczek. Brandon 4th last year. Lane 6, Luke Schmitzer, Carlton. And lane 7, Jacob Lorzel of St. Olaf. Braden has been a 54.7. That's a B cut. 54.58. He improves on that and gets him very close to the time that was invited last year. A great shot at solidifying that invitation in the finals tonight. Here are the qualifiers in the women's 200-yard freestyle final. Second alternate, Ella Grogan. Our first alternate, Katie Hummy. Qualifying into the consolation final tonight is 16, Sawyer Eastman. 15, Kaya Chernis. 14, Hannah Zern. 13, Chelsea Anderson. 12, Lily Wong. 11, Jordan Grotbo. 10th, Anna Schottler, and qualifying 9th, McKelvey McDaniel. Into the championship final tonight in 8th, Teresa Gotti. 7th, Maya Tellez. 6th, Yulia Michalski. 5th, Leah Felton. 4th, Amalia Shields. 3rd, Geneva Fackler. 2nd, Caitlin Otto. And our top qualifier, swimming a 155.85 this morning from St. Benedict, Mary Morris. Now we are on to the women's 100-yard breaststroke. We have 4 heats. Heat 1. In lane 3, Kate Watson of Hamlin. Lane 4, Hannah Graham Lawyer, St. Catherine. And lane 5, Amanda Cruz of Augsburg. And Amanda Cruz of Augsburg having herself a swim. And Amanda 117.1. Hannah 121. And Kate right at her best of 134.5. And now heat 2. In lane 1, Nicole Phillips, Hamlin. Lane 2, Dia Tucker, Carleton. In lane 3, Bella Kern, St. Benedict. Lane 4, number 3 seed is Samantha Sylvester, St. Olaf. Lane 5, 7th last year, McAllister's Caroline Wolking. Lane 6, Nora Gunderson, St. Olaf. And number 7, Kaya Rieg, St. Olaf. And it's a tight one. A whole flock of 108s. Separated by 41 100ths of a second. Now heat 3. In lane 1, Isabella Anderson, St. Benedict. Lane 2, Nicole Tilzer, McAllister. Lane 3, Zoe Morton of Carleton. Lane 4 is our number 2 seed. She was 5th last year, Emma Yao of Carleton. Lane 5, Megan Bartles, St. Benedict. Lane 6, Linnea Reinsmoen, Gustavus. And lane 7, from McAllister, Julia Gall. And Emma Yao with a certified jailbreak here at the end. 34.88 coming home to a 105.35 as she jumps to the top of the leaderboard. Heat 3. This is our final heat, a little bit of a reunion from last year's champ final. Lane 1, Sierra Hermanson, St. Catherine. Lane 2, Lindsay Sunby, who was 4th last year from Gustavus. Lane 3, Bryn Ashland. She was 3rd last year from Carleton. Lane 4 is our defending champion, Izzy Ulhorn Thornton of McAllister. Lane 5, Alana Schmitzer of St. Olaf. I think that's Elena Schmitzer of St. Olaf. Lane 6, 8th last year, Hadley Wartner of Gustavus. Lane 7, Lydia Jostock of St. Benedict. And lane 8, Leah Ennedy of Concordia. And is Izzy in 4, Elena in 5. There's a 105.6. Elena won a 106.52. And those names will be in the middle of the pool tonight in the champ final. Here are the qualifiers for the men's 100-yard breaststroke. Second alternate, Eli Petrin. First alternate, Spencer Laga. Qualifying into the consolation final, Simon Youngamoy. 15, Jacob Lorzel. 14, Brennan Close. 13, Jeffrey Kong. 12, Jason Jones. 11, Cam Newton. 10, Luke Schmitzer. Lane 7, TJ Pally. Into the championship final tonight in 8th, Will St. John. 7th, Missin Cody. 6th, Nick Sarcevich. 5th, Alex Lee. 4th, Clay McGaw. 3rd, Brandon Wilczek. 2nd, Aiden Carlson. And our top qualifier with a B-cut time of 54.58 from Gustavus, Braden Ripken. Our next event, the men's 100-yard backstroke. Heat 1. Timers, if you can, signal these swimmers to stop. We're going to take a minute to sort this out. Obviously, we'll give these swimmers some rest before we try it again. Here are the qualifiers in the women's 100 breaststroke. Second alternate, Leah Ennedy. First alternate, Nora Gunderson. Qualifying into the consolation final, Nicole Tilzer in 16th. 15th, Kaya Rieg. 14, Sierra Hermanson. 13, Lindsay Sunby. 12, Zoe Morton. 11, Megan Bartles. 10, Bella Kern. And 9, Samantha Sylvester. Into the champ final tonight. 8th, Carolyn Wolking. 7, Linnea Reinsmoen. 6, Daya Taylor. 5th, Hadley Wartner. 4th, Bryn Ashland. 3rd, Helena Schmitzer. 2nd, Izzy Ulhorn Thornton. And our top qualifier with a time of 1:05.35 from Carleton, Emma Yao. Fans were going to swim Heat 1 of the men's 100 backstroke after Heat 4 of the women's 100 backstroke. So a nice healthy rest interval for those swimmers in Heat 1. So we'll proceed through Heats 2 and 3 of the men and Heats 1 through 4 of the women, and then return to Heat 1 of the men. We are ready now for the men's 100 backstroke. This will be heat number 2.
Let's go, Vega! Come on, Matthias! Let's go, Vega! Come on, buddy!
Heat 2. In lane 1, Matthias Vega of Hamlin. Lane 2, Nate Cox, St. Olaf. Lane 3, second last year, he's our top returner this year, Matthew Lilliard, Gustavus. Lane 4, Declan Vahey of Gustavus. Lane 5, 8th last year, Will Sarkinen, Gustavus. Lane 6, lane 7, lane 6, Luke Luke Williams is in lane 6 from St. Olaf, and lane 7, Gus Schaefer of Hamlin. And to the wall in lane 4 is a 50.42 for Declan Vahey. Heat 3. In lane 1, Mason Saunders of McAllister. Lane 2, Riley Yerkes, St. John's. Lane 3, Dawson Lee, Carleton. Lane 4, our top seed is Josh Wallen, Gustavus. And Josh is out hot, 23.67. Keep an eye on that NCAA beat cut of 49.28. In lane 5, fourth last year from Carleton, Nicholas Chang. Lane 6, McAllister's Jamie Suter. And lane 7 from St. John's, Tanner Betts. Once again, the time we are looking for, 49.28. And a 49.75. Nice swim for Josh. Our next event is the women's 100-yard backstroke. We have 4 heats. Heat 1. Swimming in lane 3 from Hamlin, Natalie Morrison. Lane 4 from Concordia, Rosie Tran. And in lane 5 from Augsburg, Kaya Anderson. Rosie out in a 34.81. We're looking at about a 111, maybe a 112, which would be a big time drop for her. Remember back to heat 1 of the breaststroke. That heat just bombed their seed times. And there's a 113.44. A 5-second drop for Rosie. And Kaya, 121.99. There's a 3-second drop. And Natalie from Hamlin, a 125. That's a 2-second drop. And once again, Heat 1 renames themselves as PR City. Heat 2. In lane 1 from Hamlin, Minerva Uribe Cardenas. Lane 2 from St. Olaf, McKenna Hultgren. In lane 3 from St. Benedict, Laura Sitzman. In lane 4 from Carleton, Grace Ho. Lane 5 from McAllister, Kayla Chapman. Lane 6 from Carleton, Maya Geddes. And lane 7 from St. Catherine, Natalie Chandler. And Grace looks like she's on her way to a 58. Grace fourth in this event last year, our number 3 seed this year. And there's a 57-21. Grace, terrific last 50. Heat 3. In lane 1 from St. Catherine, Hannah Graham Lover. In lane 2 from St. Olaf, third generation MIAC swimmer Josie Hauk. In lane 3, last year's consolation champion from Carleton, Lily Soilis. Swimming in lane 4, our number 2 seed, third last year, second fastest returner swimmer, Caitlin Sires. Lane 5, Jolie Anderson, Gustavus. Lane 6, Lily Wong of Carleton. Lane 7, Josie Thomas, second generation MIAC swimmer. And lane 8 from Hamlin, Katarina Coker. And Caitlin, 57.6. Jolie, 57.7. Lily Soiler, 60.2. Josie Hauk just a whisker behind in fourth. Heat 4. In lane 1, Ava Shaker, Carleton. Lane 2, Elsa Sorensen Wagner. Elsa was from Hamlin. In lane 3, Ella Hochstetler. Ella fifth last year. Ella from St. Catherine. In lane 4, our top returner from St. Olaf, Olivia Small. Lane 5 from Gustavus, Geneva Fackler. Lane 6 from Gustavus, Felicia Simring. Lane 7 from McAllister, Nadia Lanz. And lane 8 from Concordia, Christina Moore. Olivia, 57-25. And that will, unofficially at least, put her in a position in the middle of the pool at the championship final tonight. And once again, this is the re-swim of heat number 1 of event 23, the men's 100-yard backstroke. Swimmers in heat 1, please report to the blocks. We need Andrew of St. John's to report to lane 2, Andrew Ruggeman, and Aaron Zhao of Carleton to report to lane 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give those backstrokers a little extra rest. We'll take about a 14-minute break from right now and swim this heat at 12:35. 12:35 for heat 1 of 100 back. We appreciate your patience, but we want to make this competition as fair as possible. So I'm going to take the next 13 minutes to read the qualifiers for the women's 100 backstroke. Just kidding. Our second alternate is Ava Shaker. First alternate, Elsa Sorensen-Wagner. Qualifying into the consolation final. In 16, Josie Thomas. 15, Maya Geddes. 14, Nadia Lands. 13, Lily Wong. 12, Kayla Chapman. 11, Josie Hauk. 10, Lily Soilis. And 9, McKenna Hultgren. Into the championship final tonight. The 8th, Lauren Sitzman. 7th, Felicia Simmering. 6th, Geneva Fackler. 5th, Ella Hochstetler. 4th, Jolie Anderson. 3rd, Caitlin Steers. 2nd, Olivia Small. And our top qualifier, And just a little bit of housekeeping as we get ready for Heat 1 of the backstroke tonight. Obviously, finals in all of these events this morning, plus men's 1 meter diving. The pool will open at 5 o'clock or thereabouts. Competition pool, that is. Scoreboard pool will open as soon as the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers finish their workout. And finals will begin at 6:30 p.m. I can think of a perfect time killer while we're waiting for the heat of the backstroke to go. Go to MIAC online. That will connect you to the homepage of the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. There is a tab for shop. And there you can buy official MIAC apparel, sport specific, gender specific. Looking at the men's, for example, swimming and diving, long sleeve tees, fleece pullover hoodies, t-shirts. We'd like to maybe order a souvenir. I think of a Valentine's Day gift. A nice one of those long sleeve tees for the swimmer in your family. And while you're knocking around the MIAC site, you'll see nice write-ups by BJ Pickering, our webmaster, giving you the full rundown of the women's and men's championship, complete with our top three, our all-conference team standings. There are also statistics for MIAC swimming and a great section on the history of the MIAC. You can look up past champions. Go back, for example, and see Josie Hauk's grandfather's name in the results from 1954, I think. Or Bob Hauk, Josie's father. And look at all of his championships in the past. Great fun stuff. That's MIAC Online. just one example of the fun that you can have looking through the archives of the MIAC swimming and diving. Let's just take Josie Hauk's grandfather, Dave Hauk, Hall of Famer, by the way, Dave Hauk. And look at his winning time in the 50-yard freestyle in 1953. He won it in 1952, but he was faster in 1953. He went 24-6, which would not have made the top 8 in our women's championship yesterday. That's how much swimming has improved over the years. And swimmers in Heat 1, if you would please make your way to your lanes. We're about 90 seconds away from your scheduled start time. This is event 23, men's 100-yard backstroke. He won. In lane 1, from St. Olaf, Leo Griffey Byram. In lane 2, from St. John's, Andrew Rogaman. In lane 3, from Carleton, Aaron Schau. Lane 4, fifth last year, from McAllister, Kian Pahariaga. Lane 5, from St. Olaf, Bo Giddings. In lane 6, from Carleton, Jason Rankin. In lane 7, from St. Olaf, Oscar Helgen. 24-7 for Kian of McAllister. He turns first at the 75. He is our number 3 seed. And there's a 52-19. 53-5 for Bo Giddings. And we will have those qualifiers for you shortly. And that concludes our morning session.